Hello everyone, my name is Legend Horny and this game is Lies of Kingdoms. I'm just kidding guys, I'm not the legend. I am the professor from Kingdom 24, president of the MMP Union, and I want to make this video to chronic our journey through the first season of Kingdom versus Kingdoms for the past 2 months on our continent 103 between the kingdoms 17 to 24. So, first of all, I want to thank our friends and allies from Kingdom 22, Kingdom 2017, and Kingdom 23. And I also want to thank our enemies from K20 for putting up such a resilient fight for the past 4 weeks, almost non-stop since past 5 open. Any other kingdoms would have, I would say many other kingdoms would have given up a long time ago. So props to you guys. I will be mostly narrating the events that's happened on our continent in our K24 perspective with a lot of reports and screenshots and maybe some videos. And I'll also review what our strategies and our mindsets in politics and a lot of the war strategies in our perspective, of course, mostly. This video will be served as our memory for the entire K24 family, but also to showcase how a relatively small to medium kingdom can play KvK to its fullest potential. Right. So, first of all, I want to give some background on Kingdom 24. Right. So we are essentially a 300-day-old kingdoms, relatively old, and we have about 10, 12 T5s at this moment, right? So, as you can see, we're not overly, we're not powerful. We're just somewhere in the middle, I think. We're nowhere near the size of Jingwumen, a K50, and a White Tiger, UCS, and other kind of those kind of deep sea creatures, krakens and shit. So we first of all, before you play this, you wanted to kind of like as a management, right? So we wanted to kind of gauge where we are among different kingdoms, right? So when the KvK starts, you kind of wanted to know like is it actually playable, right? So here's the thing: when you're stuck in between giant whale kingdoms like that, like K50, if you're like K51, hide for life or whatever, that's what I've heard. I don't know if you guys are hiding for life, but that's what I've heard. All right, so you can have your honor fighting to the death, and you can go to depth and try to freaking drown each other, but you also want to kind of evaluate your situation. Maybe that's not the best way of playing it, right? So what can you do to actually enjoy some of the gameplays, right? Because if you're stuck in between, you're just like farming. You all come teleport over here, and then you're farming like at a different new area, right? For the past and for the next 2 months, that's not actually playing KvK, right? You're just farming at a different place. And also, if you are in a situation like this, do you want to join like an overly OP alliance? Right, so you can just chillax for the next 2 months. So it depends on what you want, right? So if you want to have more rewards, you have to be self-aware. That's the first step. So when we look at our situation, right? So when we first looked at our situation, our continent is not OP, right? There's no too much imbalance. So we kind of know that K20 and K20 and the K22 are the two most powerful kingdoms. Actually, let me backtrack. So K23 was actually had the largest alliance called the coffee meets not coffee meets bagel. That's what I call them, but they're actually coffee and cigarettes, right? So because their leader, they are called the Rise right now. So Sorry, that's just a little. I'll tell you guys about the story as we move on. So so in the beginning we are self-aware like the fucking Skynet, right? We're like AI fully self-aware. So we look at this thing and we're like, you know what? Maybe we should. You should first of all form alliance. You know, unless you're OP, you have like 50 T5s, you can't really win this thing alone. And that's one of the major mistakes I think K20 actually made, uh, in the beginning because they think they can win everything, right? So now and now they're like this, right? That's them, like the purple. So and I know our friends at K22. So we wanted to establish a connection with them in the beginning. K22 has one of these guys, legendary warrior Da. We call him Uncle Da, right? So he was almost like 100. He was a legend of the old kingdoms. You know, he was like freaking 130 million powers when Facebook was trying to target as me to play ROK, right? He was already 130 million. I was like 10 million power, right? You know, and mind you, T5 was about 3 times more expensive because they lowered the price over time, right? So he was like playing with T5s when I was playing MUD, right? So we kind of reached out to them, and more importantly, we're like China number one, kind of stuff. We're like all Chinese. We made alliance right from the beginning, and we know that the common threat was actually at the moment K23, right? So the common thread was actually K23 because they had Coffee Meets Bagel, which had all these guys who actually migrated away. They were actually very powerful. So they were already 4 billion 2 months ago, right? So, and we kind of thought that we are in the same level with K17. And then the rest of them are kind of dead kingdoms. We didn't really account for them. So yeah, so that's the setup we have, right? So we also reached out to K17 because we were preparing for war, right? So K17 has these German alliances. So we also have a small German alliance who had to play with me for all this time, and I have a couple of the R4 officers that are all German. They were from GS, so we kind of also reached out to them. And Zucker is a very nice kid. He's going to university, but they don't actually have too many T5s. So in our opinion, that K17 has a lot of players, but not enough T5s. They have like one, I think 2 T5s at the moment, 3 T5s, right? So they just have a bunch of players. So for the next 2 weeks pre-event, so when the pre-event started, you know, Coffee Meets Bagel actually never reached out to us. They were just farming on their own, right? So, and then the ranking came out, and they actually ranked number 4, which is the shittiest, one of the shittiest, buffs, right? And then we ranked number 5 actually. We're not that proud, but we ranked number 5. So we got the troop buff. Anyways, so they decided to when this Pass 4 opened, they decided to beforehand, they actually decided to migrate to White Tiger. So all these giant T5s, all these guys, we're actually at White Tiger right now. So that's kind of like great news. We didn't spend a single soldier, and we actually took over the entire left side of the map almost, right, with K22. So we shared everything with K22. We had a great relationship in the beginning, but there was still some frictions in the beginning because we're trying to establish a trust between each other, right? So we gave them the shrine back in the day. We basically give them a lot of spaces. So yeah, so K23 was neutralized without even spending any kind of, you know, troops, and they were with this the Kuwaiti. We think that White Tiger was made by, was assassinated by the Kuwaiti banking tycoon, right? He's a banker. But we don't know. It's just rumors. All right. So K23 was neutralized, and when Pass 4 opened, they did trying to, like, resist a little bit, because they were like, oh, we're the new kingdom now, so maybe I had a few, like, of these reports from back in the day, right? So I think so yeah, so these they were the CNCs, right? They call themselves CN, but the Nordic wife guy, he's always looking for a wife. Their leader, like, how are you gonna find a wife when you can't afford to play ROK, man? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So over here we have a lot of good report. Once they started to hit our flag and they see the difference, they were like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they gave up. They basically said, help us and survive. And we actually did a great job nurturing, helping support them. Not nurturing, but we helped support the kingdom development till, like, right now they are actually doing pretty well, much better than K20. So also at that moment, I have some screenshots, right? So they were trying to bust out here for K23, and here they actually. So this is a fort that OPO dropped. So this is from K20. So which, in retrospective, I think, and I have confronted their management, that this, I don't think, is a good move, because we have already agreed to give the shrine to them, but they still dropped the fort, which left the entire right side naked. Right, so you can see back then my power was still 66. That's good old days. So they left this entire side. So this was actually near the K21, and then that's K20 on the upper side. It was actually overrun by the entire K20. So all these Fox, KWN, MOD, all these NI, all these are actually K20 alliances. So this created the problem that, we're giving them a head start. Basically, there was no we didn't K22 didn't get any honor points for almost about like a month until Pass 5 open. So they were like all the way right here. All right, so when we were looking at this, at this moment, we had a plan, right? So we had a plan that we gonna give everything to K17, because we don't know, whether they are like, we're still building our relationship with them, not fully trusting each other yet, I'm pretty sure. Give all of them to them. I'm kind of sad, so that we can focus on messing with K20. So we have already planned that once Pass 5 opens, we're gonna flag all the way over to fight K20, and then at the same time, K22 will push out, right? So that's the what had happened, basically what our plan was. And at the same time, you can see I have some good old screenshots, and they start talking shit. They're like, I wish I was getting hammered, and I was like, soon, And then this guy is like, oh, we'll be farming in K22. Interesting, because let's see where K20 was. Oh yeah, K20 is right here, I think. Yeah, I would say, who is farming in whose land at this moment, huh? Yeah, karma. That's why, I never say things that in the beginning of the war. And also, they were calling dumbass and all these things, right? So this just adds fuel to the fire. And of course, I got a message from Villain, my arch nemesis. I call him the Joker to my Batman, and the Luther to my Superman, to my Clark Kent. He's like, just heads up, pick your side, and they're gonna try to kill us. No deals. And I'm like, cool. And this is like one of the infamous Facebook posts, and then I showed a picture of us burning him later, right? So Yeah, so that's what happened. So that's the prep we have already done, right? So we gave out our a lot of our structures to K17, and we're gonna focus on ramming K20. So at this moment, it's all about execution, right? So when the pass opened, everything can be said, can be done, but it's all about execution at this point. We first did flagged over like this, right? So we first, when the pass opened, we flagged over right across, just as the image I just showed you, and we kind of met them. We kind of met K20 around this area, around the Maka circle area. So here they actually put up a bunch of forts. They were very fast, and we were flagging over, and it did take us some time. But from what I've learned so far is that you try to avoid throwing naked forts around the place because they are very hard to defend. But I guess it's a newer area, and then you can throw forts, and we don't have any flags yet, and this space is much larger than we originally thought. And that's where we had a bunch of epic wars.